Chilling up in the kingdom, chilling with Yahweh Shai and all the brothers and the sisters, cooling out, having fun, drinking yayan with Yahweh Shai up in the kingdom, yeah.
Who are we? It's real. That who are we is real. Can't hear you.
Israel.
Who's the power?
Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai's the power.
I said, who's the power?
Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai's the power.
Shalom Yasharallah.
Shalom.
Shalom. Welcome to another class here with ISB HBK. We are located in we're going live off the Houston channel, but off the Rochester channel, but we are located in Houston, Texas. They flagged our channel. They flagged our Houston channel for whatever reason. So, yeah. With that being said, we're going live off the Rochester channel, but we are located in Houston, Texas. But there is a school in Rochester too, which you'll see in a second. So, the address, real quick, is 231 FM 1092 Stafford, Texas. Zip code 77477. Class days is Mondays and Wednesdays from 7 to 9 p.m. Friday from 6 to 8, Saturday from 10 a.m. to about 2 p.m. And we do have a school in Virginia as well. The class schedule out there is Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2. I mean, y'all can see it on the screen. I'm looking on the screen. Y'all can see it. So we got the schools in the Houston, Virginia, Rochester, and San Antonio area. So if you have anybody that's in those areas, we do ask, that you congregate. Come to the school, say what's up. Come to the school, man. Rub elbows with brothers, rub elbows with sisters. So, yeah. So with that, we ask that you like, share, and subscribe to these channels, the ISBHBK channels, the Houston channel, the Norfolk, Virginia, the Rochester, the San Antonio channel. I'd like to say shalom to all the brothers out there teaching, all the sisters out there that's helping out as well. We ask that you like, share, and subscribe to Mashaba's Blog Talk Radio, the Hidden Truth Bible Show, Israelite Media Corps, the kids class that we do every Sunday at 1 p.m. here in Houston. We do that kids class live. So yeah, like, share, and subscribe to all those different avenues. We just did the summit here in Houston. We just hosted the summit. And the summit was great. I'd like to say Tawada and shalom to all the brothers and sisters that helped put it together. And also a big Tawada and shalom to all the brothers and sisters that came through to the summit. It was great. It was peaceful. And we'd like to thank the Most High for a safe and successful summit. We do have Purim, the Feast of Purim, coming up on the 6th and 7th of March. So that's in about 4 weeks. So look out for that. The Feast of Purim coming up in about 4 weeks. And then 4 weeks from that, so Feast of Purim coming up in about a month, and in a month from Purim, Passover. So it's about to be a very busy 2 months for us here. Not just here, but in all the different schools. So look out for the Feast of Purim. Again, it's on the 6th and the 7th. I hope y'all are thinking about what y'all want for y'all gifts. I'm already thinking of mine. So So we do have Fringed Up. Y'all know about Fringed Up. $35 for a shirt, $75 for a shirt and a headband. This is a new Fringed Up shirt. This is the headband that came with the shirt. It looks good. I like it. So yeah. Also, we do the Hebrew Academy here in Houston on Tuesdays. In Virginia and Rochester, the Hebrew Academy is on Mondays. If you'd like to contact any of the priests, We got Kazaki, his number is 757-300-4047. Quatzazap, his number is 303-557-8979. If you'd like to support the business is Sweet Ambiance and Chosen Creations. So if you'd like to get a nice custom garment made, or a nice custom smell, or a nice custom whatever, we can do it. And if you'd like to give any donations, the donations, we got the Wells Fargo account, the Cash App, the Zelle. You know, we definitely ask for donations. Most High love a cheerful giver. So with that, that's it for the announcement. So with that, we're gonna go into today's class. How's everybody feeling? How's everybody doing? All right, awesome. So today's class is gonna be titled, you can title it, Reach One, Teach One. Again, the title for today's class, you can title it, Reach One, Teach One. I think the saying actually is each one, reach one, teach one, right? But anyways, the title is Reach One, Teach One. So we're gonna be going into, pretty much just brothers and sisters examples, right? And some brothers and sisters are leaders, and some brothers and sisters, they're being led by these, by these teachers. So we're just gonna be touching on a few points. This first point is gonna be great men always had their disciples, right? This first point in the class is great men always had their disciples. So let's go to Isaiah chapter 30 and verse 20. Isaiah 30, verse 20.
Book of Isaiah chapter 30, verse 20.
Uh-huh.
And though the Lord give you bread of adversity and the water of affliction.
Y'all see that? So the Most High is going to feed you with adversity. Read it from the top.
And though the Lord give you the bread of adversity.
The bread of adversity. So in this life that we're living, Ecclesiasticus chapter 2, right? You come to serve the Lord, prepare your soul for temptation. We've all came to serve the Lord. That's why you're here in class. That's why you're online. But if you come to serve the Lord, prepare your soul for temptation. So the Most High is going to give you a lot of adverse situations for you to go through and for you to deal with. That's how he's going to feed you. That's why he said he's going to give you the bread of adversity. Because these adverse situations is going to teach you. The adverse situations that you're going to be going through is not meant to tear you down, destroy you. It's meant to teach you. Y'all see what I'm saying? So the Lord is going to feed you with the bread of adversity. Go ahead.
And the water of affliction.
Go ahead.
Yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner anymore.
You see that? So you're going to have teachers that's always going to be around you to help you to get through these adverse situations and these afflictions. It says your teachers won't be removed anymore. Why? Because, there was a time where the Most High did remove the teachers. There was a time, but he's brought it back. And now, guess what? Brothers and sisters got teachers. Utilize your teachers. Utilize your elders. Utilize the people that got the experience. Go on.
But thine eyes shall see thy teachers.
You see that? The scripture says your eyes shall see your teachers. What does that mean? That means they're going to be in your vicinity. That means the teachers is going to be right there with you. Read verse 21. I actually didn't have 21, but read verse 21.
And thine ears shall hear a word behind thee, saying, This is the way.
Saying what?
This is the way.
You see that? Your teachers is going to be telling you, this is the way to do it. This is the way to do it. Go ahead.
Walk ye in it.
Walk ye in it. Go ahead.
When you turn to the right hand, and when you turn to the left.
You see that? So your teachers is going to be literally directing your life. But that's only if you allow them. That's only if you allow them to. Everybody needs a guide, right? Especially when it comes to this. People don't understand the Bible. They don't understand what it's about. That's why to this day, brothers and sisters still struggle with the basic concepts of the Bible. they still study with the sacrifice, and they still study with the loving your brother, loving your sister, being in order, being in subjection. They still study with the basic things that the Bible teach. But that's why it says your teachers will not be removed. Because you're going to be able to see your teachers go through the same things, but also they're going to help you to go through it too. So now let's go to Philippians chapter 4, verse 3. Philippians 4 and verse 3.
Philippians chapter 4, verse 3. And I entreat thee also, true young fellow, help those women which labored with me in the gospel.
Which did what?
Labored with me in the gospel.
Now the reason I'm going to this Philippians 4 and 3 is because you always hear about men doing works. But it's showing you right here that women did works too. So the women are just important as the men when it comes to teaching. Why? Because the women were going to be teaching the younger sisters. The elder sisters were supposed to be teaching the younger sisters. Read on.
Which Clement also, and with other my fellow laborers, whose names are in the book of life.
See that? Now, 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 1.
Bring it out.
1 Peter chapter 3, verse 1.
What's up, bro?
Likewise, ye wives, be in subjection to your own husbands.
Read that again.
Likewise, ye wives, be in subjection to your own husbands.
You know what's funny about the scripture? This is probably the most hated scripture right now in the earth, or one of the most hated scriptures, because this is not what's being taught in the world today. And you can see it just by the divisions that's in the households, where a wife is not in subjection to her own husband. Y'all want to know what's funny about the times back then compared to the times now? You know, back then, when Yahushua was walking, and even before Yahushua was walking, who was out there with the cattle? The men, right? Who was out there, for the most part, doing the heavy labor, and even still today, the men was out there doing the heavy labor, bringing in the income, bringing in, and being the strength for the house as the man is, right? Of course, the man had a role and the women had a role. But see, back then, a woman wouldn't dare to not be in subjection to her husband. You know why?
Why?
Because she'll be done for it. She'll be done for it.
Meaning what? Meaning what? Educate me.
Educate him. So once that man decides you're done, and he separates himself from you, where would you get anything from? Where would your strength be? The protection will be gone. Your shelter will be gone. And guess what? The man may provide food and shelter, like David did when he shut up McCall. He still gave her food. He still gave her shelter. But you know what he took away from her? Let's go to Corinthians really quick.
The one thing you can't ever replace. That they're telling, the one thing that it's the one thing that they're trying to get you to replace with your degree, being a boss chick, having a business, food stamps, BBLs, girls trips, right? Sneaky links. It's one thing that they're trying to get you to replace that she couldn't replace when David put her up. What was that?
It's actually 1 Timothy 2:15. Slock it.
1 Timothy.
Let's see if I'm on point.
Chapter 2. Verse 15.
Go ahead.
Notwithstanding, she shall be saved.
She shall be what?
She shall be saved.
What are you going to lose? Go ahead, what?
She shall be saved in childbearing.
It's saved from what? See what they get you to forfeit. This woman that was no longer wanting to be in subjection, she forfeited, first of all, companionship, because we all need it, right? the scriptures say it's not right that man shall dwell alone. But a woman that wasn't going to be in subject to her husband, or going with the topic of the class, willing to be led, right, or follow, you forfeit that companionship first and foremost. Then you break the law, right? Then you break you destroy and you smear the scriptures, because there was a whole reason why the Most High gave Adam to Eve. It wasn't just Adam. It wasn't just Adam that needed the companionship. Eve had to play her role too. She had to be the help.
Yeah.
So this is a two-part thing where he's using one thing for the purpose of the other, and vice versa. So now, with that lack of subjection, it's, well, who can you help? Who can you be a help to? So you forfeit the companionship. This is why like Kevin Samuels is so funny, but it's so real. And why women hated him when he told them, die alone. You're going to die alone with cats. Because that's what a lot of women are doing. They're getting a bunch of fur babies, and they're dying alone with cats. But women hate him, but it's because they hate the truth. Cats like, what's the other dude? Tate.
Yeah.
What he says is real. Just go listen to him. What he's saying is real. Me and Kazak was talking about it and watching some stuff the other day. Everything that they're saying is biblically based, but they just don't know how to articulate it through the scriptures. That's the problem. They don't know how to articulate their point biblically, but what they're saying is based in the Bible.
Yep.
It's based on just the principles of how the Most High created us. They created a man to lead and a woman to be in subjection to that leadership. And then things would come as a benefit.
And the house would get blessed.
Right.
Because the Most High blesses the unity.
Yep.
You know, it's funny. There was this incident that happened out here in Houston, in Aldine ISD, where you had the 6-year-old little boy that was getting raped by the 13-year-old little boy in the back of the bus. There was a 5th grader raping a first grade boy
In a bus?
in the back of the school
Full of
bus.
kids.
Yeah.
Full of kids with cameras.
Gone.
The person
So the
driving
5th
bus.
grader, every day the 5th grader would get on the bus and just get the 1st grader and bring him to the back of the bus and rape him.
For how many days?
It happened for like a couple of
I
months.
shouldn't even ask.
And it sucks.
That's terrible.
It sucks to even hear about that, right?
That is insane.
But you know what's funny? You know what it made me think about? When I heard it, I was like, damn, more than likely, these were two single parent. These were two,
Yeah.
no father in the 13-year-old's life, and no father in the first grade.
There's an 80% chance.
Yeah, there's an 80 to 90% chance.
That-
Because
that-
that's
that-
what the
that-
statistics
that-
say
that-
anyway.
That it was a single mothered household.
It's just like you had the other situation, right, where the cops beat up on Tyree Nichols. You had this guy that everybody hates. I forgot his name.
Yeah, the
but
black
he
dude.
was like,
He said more than likely they come from single parents. Single women.
Single women.
He said they move like they come from single women. Then he criticized the police chief because she's a woman, and he said, "Look, you got this woman running these men like she's a single mom."
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, common, but that's what it resembles.
But even if you watched the interview, she was like, I didn't really catch on until he started doing like gay stuff.
Damn.
The mom?
The mom to the 6-year-old that got raped. She's like, he was acting different. You know, I punished him, of course. But then he started like just acting gay, pretty much, and then that's when she like was like, "What's going on?"
Damn. Well, you see that?
Oh, I see it.
Sometimes, like when we say like the man is the strength of the house, like you can look at it and just think that, oh, it's because he got muscles, oh, because he's bigger. It's not talking about a physical strength. It's talking about a mental and a spiritual strength that he's supposed to provide to that house. You see what I'm saying? But guess what? Back to 1 Peter 3:1. Read from the top.
1 Peter chapter 3, verse 1.
Likewise,
You wives, be in subjection to your own husband.
but if a woman won't be in subjection to her man, then where will the blessing in the house come? the house won't be blessed, it'll be cursed. And then, where's the strength? Where's the stability? Where's the stable minds? Where's the respect gonna come from when it comes to the children?
And then if you're not being subject to your husband, well, who are you being subject to? And why is it easier for outside influence to keep you in subjection other than your husband? See, these are the things that we got to explore, right? As Israelite people trying to come back to the Most High, trying to get things right, we got to ask ourselves, wait, why is it that I could be subject to some dyke at my job or some faggot boss? I'm about to get Zion's whole channel banned. I'm sorry, but why can I be? Why me as a woman? Why can I subject myself to a homosexual man, right? Or a lesbian man acting type of woman, but I won't allow myself to be subjected in subjection to the man I lay with every night, sleep with, in the bed, have kids with, or a spiritual man that believes in the Most High. See, these are the things that sisters gotta think about. But these same sisters want their children to be in subject to them.
Got it.
Right? I mean, don't y'all mothers, right? Don't y'all want y'all kids to be in subject to y'all? Right. But doesn't that concept go downhill and uphill? Meaning kids are in subject with the woman should be in subject with the husband. Husband is subject to who? Christ, Most High. We always say it, we got more things to be subject to. But see, it's what y'all been taught how y'all are supposed to operate. It's what they push to you. It's the narrative where, again, you can get all these other extra incentives not to be. Look up the word subject. Let's just look it up. Because we act, or subject, and look up the word submit. Because we act like these words are so negative. And they are, right? They are to Americans. They are to the American Western mind state, to a non-biblical mind, but just think about it. Don't you submit to your boss? Because nobody walks into their job and all of a sudden you're telling the boss what to do. And you're dictating to the boss how you're going to work unless you're like extra prideful and rebellious.
Yeah.
Only prideful, rebellious, little chicken head women do that. Go to work like I ain't gonna do nothing. I'm gonna tell y'all how to run y'all business, right? And and that's the type of chick that's going job to job and mad unemployment and food stamps and Section 8 housing. Why? Because nobody's gonna employ her for the help. What do y'all got? What? No. What?
For subject, it says placed or situate under.
Huh?
Placed or situate under.
Right. So to be in subject, under, right? Ject. To be placed underneath. Now, is that always a bad thing to be put under? No, it's not a bad thing. Go ahead. What else?
It says being under the power and dominion of another.
Being under the power or dominion of another. Now, why is this important? I'm going to ask the sisters, why is it important, Mathea, why is it important for Max to be under the power and dominion of you?
Because he doesn't make good choices.
Oh, right? He don't make good choices. What else?
Doesn't think of consequences. He can't think far ahead. He can't even like wipe his own butt half the time properly.
Thank you. So there's certain things. Does that mean that he's less of a human?
No.
Do you look at him as less of a human?
No.
Do you treat him as less of a human?
No.
No, you just understand that there's certain things that he hasn't developed in his spirit yet, right? There's certain things that he does where you're like, okay, I got to keep talking to you about these things. So, but you have to be in subject to me as mom so I can get the point across. So let's take that one step up and just translate that to husband and wife. You see how easy it is to just go right? Let's just go up the ladder. Boop, boop, right? Now take everything you just said and translate that to your husband. So now he's you and you're Max.
I'm Max.
You're Max and he's you.
Okay.
Get it?
Yes.
Right. So why is this so hard? When hold up, is she less of a person? I'm picking on y'all too because y'all only know. Is she less of a person?
Lie.
Is she not a human?
She's human.
Right. She's human. You still love her, right? But on certain situations, does she have the foresight?
Lie.
The near sight? The hindsight? The 360 sight?
Situation.
It's right. Where now he's there to cover you in the situations where you lack. That's all it is. You're covering your son in the situations that he lacks being able to wipe his backside the right way. But he's not less of a person. You don't hate him. You don't treat him any different. You just say, "Hey, son, when you poop, call me so I can help you wipe your backside." You don't kick him into the toilet because you're mad because you got to do it. You don't smack him in the face. You don't do any of that weird stuff, right? Why? Because you're like, this is my son. I love him. He needs my help. But eventually, what's going to happen?
You gotta stop.
He's going to learn.
Yeah.
Not that you're going to stop. Well, you stop because he learns.
Yeah.
But then there's going to be other things in life that you got to cover him in. So you never stop leading him as a mother, right? Because there's always going to be, as long as everyone is growing, there's going to be some teaching and level of deficiency. Regardless, there's a level of deficiency in everyone, right? But see, you see how we're having this. Well, I'm doing most of the talking, but you see how we're having this. How we're able to articulate these things just through God, Christ, man, woman, child. But see, y'all got to keep that in your mind. That wait a minute. As soon as I step out of the role that the Most High gave me, he didn't make the role for y'all to be stupid, because it's not a stupid role. Don't y'all see that? He didn't say, "Oh, I'm gonna give the woman to Adam for her to be just a dummy." So we know it's not a dumb role that he gave y'all, but he did give you a role.
Yeah.
The role was to be in subject, right? Why? Because there's gonna be these situations that pop up where the man, his role is to lead through those situations, even if you hate his leadership, even if you don't like it, right? So we got subject. To go ahead, what else you got for subject? This ain't part of the class. We're just ad-libbing right now, because this is important.
It says the person who is treated of the hero of a piece, to bring under the power and dominion of, to put under or within the power of.
But now ask yourself this.
One of them's to submit.
Why is it so easy for a woman to be put in the dominion of something that is not going to benefit her long term? Think about it. Again, you got women that'll put themselves in the dominion of the Pookie, the Ray Ray, her boss, her homegirls. All these things have a say over this woman. But when it comes to my husband, can't no nigga tell me nothing. Right? Doesn't that right there show you that a man should lead you? Just off that thought process. Doesn't it show you much more why you need a husband? It goes for brothers too. Wow, I'm going to show you. I'm going to be able to articulate this in all realms. This ain't just a pick on sisters thing, right? But y'all are here and, But it goes for brothers too, where what? Well, I'm going to let myself be in subject to everything else. The weed demon, the porn demon, right? I'm going to subject myself. I'm going to put myself under these different things that are doing what for me? But why is it so hard for me to put myself under Christ? Or, that's a high level. Wait a minute. Why is it so hard for me to put myself under the brother that's not battling those things? Right? Now we're talking about in the camp school structure. We got different ranking system, right? But why is it so hard for me to put myself under the brother that is trying to guide me through those woods, trying to guide me away from porn, trying to guide me away from the woman that's not doing me well, trying to guide me out of these situations that aren't beneficial. Why is it so easy for us to subject ourselves to the negative? Now, doesn't that show us that you need to be subject to something? And doesn't it show us that no matter what you think, you are subject to something? Regardless. But see, we come up with this little whack mentality that we're creating something new. Like being rebellious to your husband is something new. Or disregarding what the brother is saying to you is something that ain't new. That's been happening since the dawn of time. But we play the game like, yeah, see, I'm doing something different. I'm doing something new. But are you? No, you're really actually proving the point that you need to be put underneath something so you can get yourself up the right way. Y'all see this? What else you got for submissive? What you got?
One that owes allegiance to a sovereign and is governed by his laws.
Right. So to submit, you're just saying, I want to be governed by the laws that my husband is bringing forth through what? Through the thing that he's submitting to, which is the scriptures. That's why it says, wives submit to your husband if they speak not the word. If they speak not the word. Y'all see that? What is a woman supposed to submit to in her husband? His masculinity? His male aura? Because he's a man? Or is it that he's dealing in the word? But now think about it. Let's translate the scripture and let's make it broad. Children, submit to your mothers as you submit to Christ, if they speak not the word. Brothers, submit to the brothers as if you submit to Christ, and if they speak not the word. Yashakar is supposed to submit to me if I tell him to go, let's go roll up a blunt. Well, I'm the general. We're going to go roll this blunt. He's supposed to say, wait, hold up. That's not Christ-like. That's not Jesus. That's not the Jesus that you taught us. That's not the Jesus that I'm learning about. I'm not going to submit to that. Right? So you see how it spans across the board.
Yeah.
This submission thing. You're not supposed to submit to negative. It says there's government and rules. Go ahead. What else you got?
For submissive, you got yielding to the will or power of another.
Go ahead.
Humble, acknowledging one's inferiority.
Inferiority. You're doing what?
Acknowledging one's inferiority.
Now we're understanding why it's so hard for this following submission, because we're not looking at ourselves and acknowledging the inferiority in us, that you're inferior to what you're supposed to submit to. Meaning what? It goes back to what I said earlier, the deficiencies.
Yeah.
There's deficiencies in you that are being worked out, but you're too prideful. We're too prideful sometimes to sit back and look and say, wait a minute, I don't know what's going on over here. I don't got this. I don't got that. Let me shut up and listen. Let me fall back and learn. But instead we do what? The opposite of submit. We get haughty, we get prideful, we get disrespectful, we get presumptuous, we get heady, high-minded, right? We start to exhibit those traits over the traits of submissiveness. But once again, let's look at this word. The reason why I wanted to go to the word was so we could understand that this is not a negative word. The world told you that it was, first of all, you submit to the damn traffic light every day. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Didn't it say to yield? Right. When it says yield, don't you do it? Is that negative? Isn't it for a purpose? Because if you don't and you keep going, you're going to smash the car that's coming, right? So is it negative to submit? No. It's what you submit to. It's what you're submitting to and what you're submissive to and what you give yourself to, what you put yourself under. What else you got? Then we can jump back.
Testifying one's submission, obedience.
Obedience. That's it?
I had surrender, to yield, to give up, to give in, to comply, agree, concede, consent, defer. I mean, these are the synonyms. Then it says accept. But yeah, you see,
Right, go ahead.
well, yeah, I mean, y'all see all the different words for it. So it's like, why would it be a bad thing to submit to your husband, or to submit to those that have to rule over you, especially when they're looking out for you, like the scripture says, right? But read it from verse 1 from the top one more time.
Well, especially if they're giving you the Bible. That's the thing.
And it's for your benefit. Go ahead.
1 Peter chapter 3, verse 1.
Uh-huh.
Likewise, ye wives, be in subjection to your own husbands,
Uh-huh.
that if any obey not the word,
Go ahead.
they also may, without the word, be won by the conversation of the wise.
And you know what's cool about this? Again, remember this class is titled Reach One, Teach One. So it's about teaching other people, right? This class is about teaching the younger brother, teaching the younger sister. So what happens a lot of times when brothers and sisters learn about the truth and come into the truth? You can show them the Bible, especially Israelites, because it says we seek after a sign, the Greeks after knowledge, right? So when brothers and sisters come in, we can show them as many scriptures as we want to. Majority of the times, they want to see somebody else. They want to see how it's working for you. You see what I'm saying? So when you look at this one, this scripture in particular, where it says you got to be in subjection to your husbands, that's what the world teaches. The world teaches for you to not be in subjection to your husband.
They teach you not even to have one.
Yeah.
Nobody should be able to tell you what to do.
You know what's funny, man? So you know how, like, when you listen to the radio plays the same crap every day?
Yep.
The same crap in the same cycle. You know what song they never took out the cycle?
All My Single Ladies?
No, not that one.
Oh.
Just think about
Negative
it.
WAP?
Nope. In regards to the topic, I'll just tell you.
Cater to you?
The Lil Webby and Boosie song, INDEPENDENT. Do you know what that means?
Independent?
Yeah.
I never heard that song.
You never heard that?
I don't listen to either one of those guys.
Oh yeah, you wasn't in the set. But y'all know that song though. You know it. You know it, right? It's played in every club in the South.
But then the new chick came with the FREE.
Yeah, and they'll probably never.
Right.
They'll probably never stop playing that song now too.
They got to refresh that sentiment.
Kind.
In sisters. Really, it's really the attack on the women. What's up?
It's because I'm far away from the mic. My bad. I'm far away from the mic.
Yeah.
The water.
I got it.
The water, Gamar. But yeah, they play that song. They still got that song in the loop. And I sit there and I think about it. I'm like, yeah, because they beating that into sisters' heads. But I want y'all to think about it. If that comes, if you got a new brother or a new sister that comes in, but especially on the top of 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 1, a lot of the times when these sisters come, they don't know nothing about the truth. They don't know nothing about the Bible. So what's going to make these sisters change? It says the conversation of the wise. Read it from the top. Check it out.
1 Peter chapter 3, verse 1.
Go ahead.
Likewise, ye wives, be in subjection to your own husbands.
Why? Go ahead.
That if any obey not the word.
Because if you get a new sister that comes into the truth and they don't care about the Bible, they don't understand the Bible, they don't care about being an Israelite, they don't care about serving the Most High, or they just don't understand, read.
They also may without the word be won by the conversation of the wise.
You see that? They'll be won over just by how they see these other sisters dealing with their husbands.
In negative. They'll be won over by the negative. Yep.
Oh, in this case, it'll be with the positive.
Oh, I see.
In this particular case,
I see. What
you know, I'm talking about like a new sister that comes into the truth,
right?
That don't really understand the scriptures.
But she's
seeing how understand what's going on.
She's seeing how the righteousness is being done.
Yeah, right. She's seeing how women in the truth is dealing compared to women in the world, and it blows her mind. So she's like, damn.
Yep.
Because she's actually seeing families that's operating and being blessed and operating in a structure where she probably didn't even come from a family. She probably didn't even come from a two-parent household. You see what I'm saying? So she's actually able to see the Bible at work even though she don't understand the word, or even though she believes in the word. Go ahead, Yashkar.
Y'all have mentioned to us per the summit, right?
Read.
During and then after, how other brothers from other camps or other elders, once they saw the men and how they behaved brotherly, how they moved in order, how they moved in subjection, how they moved with what has been taught to us and what we see y'all doing. We correlate that same spirit to what you're bringing up as far as the sisters?
Well, this is the thing. What they saw at the summit was the whole community of our school. It wasn't just the brothers, right? They were looking at every single aspect and saying, "Wait a minute, everything." It was like ants, right? In a community just working together. Yeah, they interacted more with us, right? Because that was the job, to interact and we were hosting.
Yeah.
But they were watching sisters too. They were watching their interactions and how they dealt with each other, how they dealt with situations. They were watching how they were moving. They were serving, cleaning. They watched all that. They seen all that. So when they're talking about the brotherhood as far as the camp, that brotherhood is not just streamlined to brothers, right?
Okay.
They're looking at our children. They're seeing the kids. They're seeing all these different things, and they're saying, "Damn, the brotherhood, and sisterhood, brotherhood, it's beautiful in y'all's camp." You see that? So it's not just a man thing. You see that?
Okay.
They were seeing all of it.
Got it.
Yeah.
God. Let's go to
And for y'all sisters to know, that was what they were saying. That's what they were saying. They were like, "Dude, we ain't seen nothing like this." And I'm not trying to toot our horn or anything like that, but they were the ones that were saying it. Like, look, y'all, the way y'all move is we haven't seen this, right? Because let's just be real. We try to operate on a higher level, on a different standard, right? Not that we're better than anybody, but we try to do what? Stick to this. But you lose the standard when there is no subjection, submission, and order. You lose the decently in order when the subjection and the submission is lost. That's what we got to understand. There's no longer a decently and in order anything. It don't matter if you're serving food. It don't matter if you're washing your car, right? It's not going to be done the right way if those three components that feed off of each other are lost. Go ahead.
Go to 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 1. 1 Corinthians 11 and 1.
1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 1.
Before you go to 1, I'm sorry, read verse 2. Read verse 2 in 1 Peter 3.
1 Peter chapter 3, verse 2. While they behold your chaste conversation coupled with fear.
So you see that? So it says that the wives will be won. These sisters will be won over by the conversation of the wives, right? And it's not just them sitting down and talking with you and see the way you deal. They sitting there and watching you deal with your family, deal with your husband, the way you move. And then they're sitting there beholding your chaste conversation coupled with fear, right? You see, chaste means pure. So they watching the pure words coming out your mouth, but the pure actions too. Y'all see what I'm saying? Then it says coupled. So not only is it a pure conversation, not only is it pure the way you do things, but it says with fear. So it's saying that's happening, and there's a big respect factor there too.
And also, when you look at pure, something pure, I like that word, but let's move that word and let's bring a word that we're dealing with in the subject. It's a restrained or held back type of conversation, right? What does that go back into? That goes back into submission and order and subjecting.
Yeah.
Because now, and when I say restrained, you're restraining yourself from having certain conversations or using certain words. But where does that come from? Aren't you now putting yourself in subjection under the word or under your husband's tutelage to be able to show you, well, the way you're talking, the way you talk, that's not the way we talk. So now we got to teach you a different way to talk.
Okay.
right? You had your hand up.
I was going to use the word discretion.
Right, discretion, because what is discretion? Well, it's knowing what's needed at a time.
Yeah.
Discreet. So instead of, but it still goes back to being subjecting. It still goes back to being submitting to someone else's will or government on how you should speak. So no matter what, it all goes. But just think about it. Think about the sisters that just blah, 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 blah. It's like, damn, her mouth can't be restrained. She can't control her mouth. She can't. She like you ever see the chick that's just wilding out, going crazy? Nope. Better yet, the child that goes crazy in the supermarket. You like, and he's by himself. You like, who the hell is his parents? Or where's his parents? Because what are you looking for that child? What are you looking for? When a kid is in the store wilding out, and you like, man, what's the first thing you say?
Where are their parents?
Where are their parents? And then the second thing you say, that couldn't be my kid, because I'm a What are you really saying? Well, what you're saying is that my child would be more restrained. My child would be in submission to me, and they would have to subject themselves to me. You see that?
All right.
So it's all hand in hand. I'm just replacing words. Just replacing words for it to fit. But it all goes back. Now let's go back down to the lower level. Let's take it. We go up a notch. Woman and child. Woman and husband. Brother and brother. Brother in Christ. You see that? Yahweh Shai. All you got to do is, if you really want to get it, look at the relationship between the Most High and Christ. Look at their relationship. Never any one time did you see Yahweh Shai trying to bark orders to the Most High. Never in any instance scripturally did you see Yahweh Shai trying to dictate how things were going to be. He respectfully asked, can you remove this cup? But no, deal with that. Just look at that relationship. And that's what we're supposed to pattern our relationships, husband, wife, children. You know why it's easy for brothers? You know why I can sit with Yashikar, him being a soldier, and I can sit with him, and I don't got to sit there and like remind him of my rank, and I don't got to remind him of his rank when we deal. You know why it's so easy for me and him to just, I don't got to sit there like, listen, I remember my rank, right? You know why it's easy? Because there's a respect factor that brothers have through what we're building daily and being around each other and understanding each other, but the respect for the ministry, where I respect his position, but he respects my position. I respect his position, but he respects my position. I don't have to remind him or any brother really of my position, because what are they looking at? Well, I'm not trying to take your rib, not trying to take your bank account, not trying to take you, right? You're not being led down dark alleys to go do fight clubs. None of the weird stuff that you hear in the world.
Yeah.
Right? That's not happening. What do brothers see? Consistency. What do brothers see? When I need something, the brothers are there for me. What do brothers look at? When I need counsel, I get it. And it's good counsel. To the point, dealing with the subject. You know, they're able to see our works and respect the work and then respect the man behind the work. And a position never got to be brought up. But why does your husband got to constantly remind you that he's your husband? Or that, wait a minute, I'm the man and you're the woman. Is it because he forgot his gender? No, well, because a lot of the times you forget your role. Just like you got to remind your child, boy, you better get in your place. You know, I brought you in the world. I can take you out. Remember that? But why? Because the child stepped out of place. It's as simple as that. Why does the Most High got to whoop your husbands? Well, because he stepped out of line. And you can't whoop him as a woman, so the Most High got to do what?
Himself.
He got to get the destroyer to rip through his life, right? And put things in check. So everyone is subject to something. But what it is when we forget what it is that we're supposed to be in subjection to. that's where all these other things come into play. Where you at?
Let's go to first Chronicles 15 and 13 real quick.
First Chronicles.
We were gonna go to this 1 Corinthians 11 and 1 just to go over the order.
But I've been.
but he's been hitting it.
Yeah.
So the order is the Most High, Christ, man, woman, child, right?
Yeah.
That's the order. So.
And that's not our order. That's the thing.
That's the biblical order.
Right. This is what the Most High set up. And sometimes I feel like
it should. You feel weird like even mentioning it because it's not even something that you should even have to mention.
It's that, but then it's like sometimes I feel like some of us think these things are made up. Like we're making up an order or a program for y'all to follow. No, or in my house, I'm making this up so I can dictate my house. No. There's many people. There's many men that order their house and don't even have the damn scriptures. Because y'all believe in something, y'all believe in the natural order of things. Y'all ever hear that? There's a natural order. See, the problem is that we've all been taken out of our natural order. Some people still live in their natural order when it comes to certain things. Right? You can have the damn Kemet dude that don't know the Bible that got 2 women in order and subject under him. Well, because why? She respects what he does. And she believes in Kemet. He believes in, so she respects him enough to say, you know what? Let me follow him. So they don't need the Bible. Like, and I'm not saying, listen to what I'm saying. I'm not saying we don't need the Bible to keep us in order. The law is for the lawless. We do need the Bible, especially if you can't be in order. But the natural, innate thing that's supposed to be in us is what? Children follow their parents. Wife follows husband. Happy wife, happy child, happy life. Happy Most High, everybody's happy. Right?
Yeah.
That's how it should. That's the natural order of things. But where you at?
First Chronicles chapter 15, verse 13.
Go ahead.
For because ye did it not at the first, the Lord our power made a breach upon us.
Check this out. It said the Most High made a breach upon us, right? A breach means a break, a violation, an infraction. Read on.
For that we sought him not after the due order.
Because we did not what?
We saw him not after the due order.
You see that? And this is just a quick. This was just a quick thing that was going on in Chronicles. I got to read over it, but they did something that was out of order with the Most High and the way that they were moving. If I'm not mistaken, I think they just went and did something without. I got to read over the chapter, like I said. I think they just went and did something without inquiring from the Most High. Like they just forgot about him and just went and made a decision without inquiring of the Lord first.
It's just
so.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
So, like the scripture said, there was a breach that happened. The Most High didn't bless what it was that they were doing. You see what I'm saying? So it's the same thing with us. When there's a breach in the house, because we're not seeking after the due order that the Most High laid down, then there's not going to be this happiness. There's not going to be the blessings. There's not going to be any structure.
That camaraderie between the man. Remember, if the man and woman are affected, so are the children.
But, and this is the cold part, is this not what Israelites is dealing with in the world? This is what Israelites is dealing with in the world. So if a brother or a sister is to come into the truth, what the hell are we going to show them? We're going to show them the same thing. If it's not fits in us. Go to, kind of freestyling now.
Where was that?
That was
First
Chronicles 15, verse 13.
Read that one more time. Watch this.
For because he did it not at the first, the Lord our power made a breach upon us.
Think about it. If you're on a ship and you hear there's a breach in the hull,
There's a hole in there.
that means that the ship is sinking. That means that something hit that ship, or it hit something, and we're in danger of death, of sinking. So this is not a small thing. Where just look at the relationships, and there's many breaches that happen because why? We are the first ones to What does it mean to breach? When you hear breach of contract,
You broke it.
you broke something. Because we're the first breachers. Or they breached our defenses. They got past or got through. So it's not a good thing when Most High said he caused the breach, but we're the first ones to breach the order. We break the order, or we subvert the order, or we try to go around the structure, right? When you read about Saul, when you read about Saul, when Samuel said, hey, wait right here, 7 days, I'm going to come do the sacrifice, yada, 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 yada. And the seventh day, what happened? Well, Saul decides, well, I'm going to go do the sacrifice myself, not being a priest. Samuel rolls up like, what you doing, bruh? He said, well, you took too long. Well, now you out of order. But what was the consequence of that? That right there was when the kingdom was literally taken from Saul. It was that. From that point on, he said, listen, you'll never be the king. There's somebody better than you. Then he kept creating these different breaches in his contract and his conduct, where the Most High was like, well, I'm going to create a bigger breach. I'm going to split you from the kingdom. I'm going to split you from being king. So I'm going to take you out of your power. But now think about it. Just think about us. Where does a man's power lie? What makes him a man? Sisters, anybody. Where is a man's true power?
His word.
And what?
His word.
What? Come on, somebody else. It's not his word. Where is a man's true power? Isn't it wisdom? Isn't it the Bible? Isn't it his connection to the Most High? Now think about it. Where does a woman's true power lie? That connection with her husband. But not that we're connected because we're best friends, but it's the man, and not the man's connection because he reads the Bible, but his ability to submit to the things that he's reading. That's where his power lies, in his ability to restrict himself and sacrifice. That's where a man's power lies. Those are the most powerful cats are the ones that can be chaste and be abstinent. Now the woman, her power is in following that man that can do that and being the carbon copy of him. And then the children. Look at Abraham. All he did was make carbon copies of himself through his servants, his ribs, and some of his children, right? We know Ishmael wasn't there. But that's all he did was make carbon copies of himself. And yeah, they weren't all to the T. But just look at the ones that did not want to be carbon copied after him. Yeah. They're the ones that got sent off. Midian, Ishmael, go do your own thing. I got to keep Isaac right here with me because he's the carbon copy. If anything, he's going to be better. He's going to be able to make copies. Y'all see this? It's very important. This is where some of y'all complain, oh, there's no love in the house, and there's no this, and there's no... This is where the love comes from. Or, excuse me, this is where you get it. Where we're all doing our job, because whatever I do as a man in my house, it affects my wife and my children. Yeah. Whatever my rib does as a woman is going to affect me and the children. In turn, what are we affecting? Are we not affecting the house? Are we not promoting certain spirits in the house? So how do I know that my woman loves me? Well, I look at her willingness to submit. That's how I know that she loves me. How does she know that I love her? Well, she has to look at my willingness to submit to the Most High, something greater than her, to keep us all in line. It ain't because I kiss her on the forehead and tell her good morning, queen. No. She looks at how much I'm willing to submit to the Most High to keep our union in love. But see, the training is what? Well, girl, my man showed me that he loved me because, he the bouquet every week, or he takes me on this trip or that trip, or he does this or he does that. my girl loves me because she cooks. No, it's not because she cooks and cleans. Y'all are literally built to do that. I don't think y'all even realize it. You don't even have to be taught to do that. You know how. It's not about your cooking and cleaning levels. How much am I willing to submit to this righteous man? That's how you show the love. How do your children show that they love you? Let's bring it to the ones that don't know a damn thing. How do they show you that they love you? Or how do you feel like, damn, my child really loves me? Well, when I tell them something, they do it. So they at least got a high level of respect. But if you tell your child to do something and they looking at you like, man, whatever, where's the love really? You're providing, you're giving shelter, food, clothing, heat, water, and you're like, hey, go do the dishes. And they're like, nigga, please. Where's the love? Where's the love for your sacrifice?
It's like, Mina will be like, I love you, Mom. I'm like, oh, if you love me, you do what I said.
See? You see, right? You see that? If you love me, but ain't that what Christ said?
I was just about to say that. That's what he said.
He said, if you love me, keep my commandment. But what is the commandment? Well, one of them is wives being subjected to your husbands. Another one is the order. Another one is men keeping themselves diligent in the fear of the Lord.
Yeah.
See, it's not just one thing or the other. It doesn't just apply to one demographic. The women, spans across the whole nation. Where you at?
You got your hand up?
Oh, so an example of Hannah being the baby that she is. But like, here, Hannah, go throw this, or Hannah, pick this up, or Hannah, do that. Just the love and excitement for her to do these little tasks, it trips me out.
You happy though?
It's like, dang, how quick she just does this and comes back like, yay, I did it.
That's why Yahushua said to be as a child. Go to Colossians 2:9. Colossians 2:9. Just off this topic again, because it is an important topic.
Okay.
Colossians 2:9. Go ahead.
Colossians chapter 2, verse 9.
Uh-huh.
For in him dwelleth all the fullness of the Godhead bodily.
And this is speaking of Christ. So in Christ dwells all the fullness. So why is it that brothers and sisters be in the truth and feel empty, don't feel free, don't feel full, feel like they're missing something, feel like they lost it or they don't have it, doubting or questioning themselves? We are?
And ye are complete in him.
You see that? The scripture says we're complete in him. So if you don't feel complete, if you don't feel full, it's because you're out of order. It's because order is lacking somewhere. What is order? Order is structure. And then what is that too? That's just you following. Y'all see what I'm saying? So because you don't want to follow, because you don't want to have no structure, and you're making that breach, you don't feel complete. You don't feel full. You second question yourself until you're out. You see what I'm saying? I like how Quatazat was bringing out, on the twofold, not just on the women's side, but on the men's side. What does it mean to really be in order with the Most High? What is it? I'll make it easy. What does it mean for a child to be in complete order or complete subjection to their parents? What does it mean? Because we all got parents, we all got kids in here. What does it mean for a child to be in complete subjection to their parents? How do they roll? Don't that mean they do everything you say for them to do? Don't that mean that they give you all the love and all the respect that you expect from them? Don't that mean that they think of you before they do anything? So when they're not at your house and they're in school or whatever, or wherever, they're supposed to follow you and honor you, right? That's how it's supposed to be. Why? Because those children are a representation of you. So that if the children are a representation of you, then the wife is supposed to be a representation of the husband a representation of Christ. So if that husband don't want to follow Christ, then he can't expect his wife to want to follow him. So what? What? You don't want to follow Christ. You want to follow Kemet, but she's supposed to go and follow you to Kemet. You see what I'm saying? Or if the wife don't follow the husband, so now what? Like the children supposed to follow this woman that don't follow her man? Is that what's supposed to happen? But that's why the house is going to be blessed. You see what I'm saying? That's why the houses be cursed. And that's why brothers and sisters will be in the truth and not feel complete. Because you yourself are not in incomplete subjection with either your husband or either the Most High in Christ. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So you'll be in the truth and really wonder if you're in the right place.
Yeah, it's like, as men, can we dictate to the Most High how we want to be? No. As children, can children dictate to the parents how they want to be? No. So it stands assured that a woman can't dictate to the man how it's going to be, and that's where that stale, I'm not sure why I'm here, what are we doing type spirit creeps and lingers and stays. And you're like, you walk in the house and you're just like, this ain't it. And everyone feels it. The kids walk in, they're like, everyone feels it because it's not a physical thing, it's a spiritual thing. You can feel a house that's out of order. You can feel the chemistry is no longer there. The willingness to keep that spirit going is not there because the spirit is not there to keep going. So nobody knows what to do when it's out of order. It doesn't have to necessarily be chaotic, but out of order is out of order and you can feel it. It doesn't have to be chaos. It could be quiet disorder. There's a such thing as quiet disorder where you just like, man, I'm not feeling this ever. I'm not feeling this ever, man. And guess what? We've all been there in relationships. You're like, this ain't working, but then you get to look at why. Well, it's not working because he's not doing this. Oh, it's not working because she's not doing this, right? He's not playing his role, his position. She's not playing her position. And you say, man, what am I doing? And all you know is what? If you talk and iron out who's supposed to be doing what, that's the simple fix, right? Well, that's the simple part, is talking about it. Now it's about doing it. Getting things back in order. Ordering the house aright. It's not just a female job, because on a spiritual tip, that's the man. The man is supposed to recognize the disorder, the chaos, the silent chaos, and say, wait a minute, this is out of order because, look, boom, I may not be doing this or that, but this is happening with you, so then this is affecting the kids. I'm not in order with the brothers. I'm not studying. It'd be simple things, man, like being in order with the Most High. He says, study to show thyself approved unto him. Yeah. He says, study to approve yourself to him. Study to be in order with the Most High, and guess what? Oh, well, I don't study. So guess what? You got disorder on a real low noise level. You know that low noise that's there? It's an annoyance, but you can tolerate it. You ever hear that little background noise? It's there. You're like, man, I know how to get rid of it, but I can deal with it. So it's, but I'm showing you, I'm trying to articulate this in a way. The not studying for a man is that noise that's there. You can tolerate it for so long until it starts to drown things out. Yeah. Until it starts to become a nuisance. Because what it'll do, that thing will affect every little decision that he starts to make. Every person in the house is now affected by his lack of commitment to being in order with the Most High. Lack of submitting to the Most High and what the Most High wants for that man. Then what happens? Well, now he's out of order, woman's out of order, kids out of, the whole house is out of order. And if you got position and rank and you go to work, what do you take? You take that disorder and chaos to work. It doesn't leave you because you change a zip code or because you hop in a car. That's a myth. It doesn't leave you because you change scenery. No, the disorder that's in you is in you. And you take that everywhere you go, and then things start to become disorderly around you in all aspects of life. And then you're like, damn, I can't control nothing. Well, go back to the essence. Go back to the essence. Go back to the first thing you were supposed to do and stand in order with the Most High.
Go back to that first love.
First love. The same thing that popped in my head. Think about it. What's the first thing we ask brothers when they're having a rough day? When they're having a rough day and things go awry. What's the first thing we ask y'all when you get on the phone? Did you set up prayers?
No.
Because that's the first thing you should be doing. Is setting up prayers and aligning yourself and subjecting yourself to what the Most High wants you to do towards Him. Did you set up prayers? Did you do it together? No. But that's the problem. Well, go set up prayers. Go submit yourself. Go subject yourself. Stop thinking that it's you and go ask the Most High for the blessing. You see that? But it's just as simple as that sometimes, where for a man, and then it affects a trickle down domino effect. Go ahead.
You know, it's like he just said, man. We went to that scripture in 1 Chronicles 15 and 13.
Yep.
Where it says, give the Most High his due order.
That's a good one. Man.
You see what I'm saying? Whatever we do, we got to give the Most High his due order. Let's go to 1 Timothy chapter 6 and verse 1. 1 Timothy 6 and 1. Now, I know we were all over the place with that first point, but it's all good. It needed to come out. So the second point is going to be, allow yourselves to be taught. Allow yourselves to be taught.
Y'all don't think it was all over the place, do y'all?
Well, I mean, for the point of...
Well, we didn't stick to our script.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
But no, it was definitely, they got it. It's definitely clear.
As far as this?
Yeah, look, they online like, oh yeah. Right on point.
God. So, allow yourselves to be taught. This is going to be the second point. Allow yourselves to be taught. Go to 1 Timothy 6 and 1.
1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 1. Let as many servants as are under the yoke count their own masters worthy of all honor.
You want to know what's funny about this? We're all under the yoke. In some way, shape, or form, we are all under the yoke. We all have a brother that's above us for the men. And if you're a sister, y'all have husbands that's above y'all. And if y'all don't have husbands, then guess what? You have brothers or sisters that's above y'all. So guess what? We're all servants. So it says that we're supposed to count our own masters worthy of all honor, right? So how do you count your master worthy of honor? How do you do that? Well, we talked about it. You're going to be in subjection to them. Whatever they're showing you, you're going to do. Whatever they tell you to do, you're going to do. You see what I'm saying? Read on.
That the name of the Most High and his doctrine be not blasphemed.
Because it'll be a shame if you sit there and you talking all this Bible stuff, but somebody comes around you and you're not living the Bible stuff. You're not living what it is that you're saying. You're not being that representation of somebody that's humble, of somebody that's meek, of somebody that can listen and follow. I don't know if y'all see it, man. If you don't study, you won't see it. But when Yahushua came, what's the first thing he said to his disciples? What he told them?
Believe what you have and follow me.
Bam. Perfect. That's what he said. He said, follow me, follow me, follow me. They never stopped following him. Even when he died, they never stopped following him. Because when he died, they still moved like how he would have wanted them to move. You see that? So he never stopped following them. They never stopped honoring him. You see that? But if they would have stopped, they would have dishonored the doctrine. The doctrine would have been blasphemy. But it says that when you're under the yoke, man, honor your masters. Read verse 2.
And they that have believing masters.
They that have what?
Believing masters.
Yeah, man. Y'all acting like y'all's husbands ain't following the Bible. Like, we ain't trying to be rappers. Like, what the hell? We ain't out here smoking weed. We ain't out here doing drugs, popping pills, doing all kinds of craziness. Y'all ain't getting beat. Y'all ain't getting talked about all badly. You got men that's trying to study the Bible, trying to better themselves in class every day, could be doing anything else under the sun.
We can treat you like Blueface, you know, it's like
Blueface and
they
Krishan.
want to get treated like Blueface and Krishan and get your tooth knocked out so you got something to say. Get your whole front tooth knocked out and get punched in the face over the internet.
To just get drunk and fight all day.
It's like that right there. He gets all the respect and love from his woman because he's beating her ass on the internet all day
And she's beating him too, vice versa.
and knocking her damn teeth out and kicking her in the stomach while she's pregnant and all these weird things. And we ain't even on that. Just like, think about it. You're not doing that to your children, right? You're not just beating them for no reason, locking them in the closet in the dark, tying their hands, tying them up to the radiator, starving them.
Yeah, radiator.
You're not doing all these different. You're not doing all these different things, right? To your children. So think about it, because you say that. Well, wait a minute. I provide for you. I cook for you. I clean for you. I give you all these things. Why are you disrespectful towards me? Why aren't you following and listening to what I'm saying when I'm doing so much good towards you or trying to? That's what we say, right? That's what we all say. Like, damn, you little disrespectful little crispy Negro. Okay. All that food you eating, all that water you drinking, right? All them lights, all that electricity, all that warmth, and all that AC. You got the nerve, right? If you can say it about your kids, then guess what? We can say it about y'all. On a husband, guess what? The Most High can say it about all of us, because don't he say it?
Yeah.
You disrespectful, hard-headed, crispy, crunchy black Negroes. The light-skinned ones too. Yeah, you disrespectful, you're sottish children, right? Israel's like a woman in a field around a bunch of cucumbers. Like, he calls us hoes, sluts, pimps. He calls us all that because he tells us that we're ungrateful. I'm giving you all this, and then you got the nerve to go do this? You got the nerve to go submit to something else? Damn. Okay, well, let that do it for you then. You had your hand up.
And that's like, told the kids the other day, like, me and Yashkar, we don't work hard and give you a house and a bed and clothes and food just for y'all to be, like, not listening children, like, horrible people. Like, we don't do what we do for you guys to come and be just, like, crappy people.
Right. But now take that same mind state and broaden it. That's all I'm doing. I'm showing you how we deal with our children, but then now how we deal, how you think about your children is how your husband thinks about you and the children, and then how the Most High thinks about you, your husband, and the children. That's it. That's all I'm doing. Yeah. It's just broadening it out, that eyesight, and make it broad. That's really it.
Okay.
So it's a knock on everybody, right? Nobody could escape. What's that?
It's like it's the very thing that we hate that our children do is the very thing we do to the Most High, and He hates it.
God.
So it goes full circle.
Yeah. Unfortunately, right? Unfortunately, but it only lies with us because Yahweh Shai ain't disrespectful to the Most High. He ain't in the heavens disrespecting the Most High. We down here disrespecting because we've been allowed certain freedoms because we think we smart.
Smart.
Right?
And we think.
You gonna say something?
Yeah, we think.
We think too much. We think about the wrong things. Wise to do evil, but to do good they know not.
Okay.
Where you at?
Let's go to
Shatak, you shared this. You know you wanted to bar this. Go
yeah,
ahead.
Shatak, what you doing, bro? Go to Proverbs 22 and 17.
I know you wanted to bar. You don't know. You don't
Proverbs.
coaching.
Chapter 22, verse 17.
Read.
Bow down thine ear and hear the words of the wise.
Read again.
Bow down thy ear and hear the words of the wise.
Go ahead.
Now, let me just say this real quick. You know why your kids don't listen to you? Because they don't think that you're wise. That's why when you be telling them something, they be like, I ain't doing that. I'm going to do my own thing. Because they think they're smarter than you. They think they're smarter than us. Now, let's go up the ladder. You know why you don't listen to your husband, wife? Because you think you're smarter than him. That's just the bottom line. Get your hand out your nose. It's because you think you're smarter. It's because somewhere down the line, someone embedded into your mind that no one can tell you nothing and that you got it. Why do we disrespect and not listen? Because we think we can outsmart the spirit of the Most High. Why do we do sneaky things and lie and cheat and steal? And because we think we can outsmart the Most High. That's what we think. But it's the same thing with the women. You think you're going to outsmart your man. First of all, you know why you got with your man? You know why you got with any man on any level? Because he was smarter than you. Oh, it didn't break. That's the buttons. Because he was smarter than you. Because he was more intellectual than you. No woman wants a dumb man. Let's be real. No woman wants a weak man. You got with him because he was physically stronger than you. Because he thought on a different, higher level than you. Because he could lead you. That's why you got with him. And then somewhere down the line, you develop this psyche to lead him. If he let you. But you just got to understand. We all got to understand that what? If I'm not willing to hear, read it again.
Proverbs chapter 22, verse 17.
Right?
Bow down thine ear and hear the words of the wise.
If I don't want to hear, it's because I don't think that is wisdom. So guess what? Whose problem is that? Isn't it the non-hearer's problem?
God.
Because you can't even recognize what's wisdom and what's not. It's like a child. You tell them, hey, don't touch the stove. It'll burn you. That's wisdom. And they touch it anyway. Whose fault is that? Yeah, it's their fault, the non-hearer. Because they didn't want to believe the wisdom that was given. That's why I don't feel bad when kids, I always say, who don't hear must feel. And if I got to speak more than once to you, there's a problem. So I don't feel bad when you fall down the damn steps. I don't feel bad when you get sick because you want to drink soda all day. I don't feel bad when this happened and when that happened. I don't do that with my kids. I'm like, see, told you. All you got to do is listen. But ain't the Most High the same way? He's a little bit more forgiving than me. But he's still like, I told you. All you got to do is listen to me. This is wisdom. But we're so quick to reject, man. And submit to the wrong wisdom. Go ahead.
And apply thine heart unto my knowledge.
God, so guess what? Even if you don't understand, at least try to understand.
Yep.
At least try to sit there and meditate on it so you can understand it. And another one, even if you don't understand, just follow until you do. Why is that so hard too? To just follow even if you don't understand and it'll come through later. Especially if you see your way isn't working. Go to Ecclesiasticus 6 and 34. Go to Ecclesiasticus 6 and 34. No, you know what? Drop that Ecclesiasticus 6 and 34. Let's go to Ecclesiasticus 27 and 3. Ecclesiasticus 27 and 3.
No, I left it.
Ecclesiasticus 27 and verse 3.
Look at Ecclesiasticus chapter 27 and verse 3. Unless a man hold himself diligently in the fear of the Lord, his house shall soon be overthrown.
So you know how a man's house or a woman's house will be overthrown? One way a man or a woman don't hold himself diligently is simply by Proverbs 22 and 17. Because they won't bow their ear to listen to wise words that's being spoken. They won't bow their ear and actually take in what's being shown. They won't listen to the advice. They won't listen to the experience, the counsel. Instead, they'll listen to their feelings, or they'll listen to what was shown to them before that isn't working. You know, this is one of my favorite sayings now. It's been my favorite saying since 2022. And the saying is, results are the results. Like, I want that on a shirt.
That was my saying.
That was his saying, yeah.
Still it?
He said it, and I took it and I ran with it. Results are the results. The man is going to give a man and a woman according to what your work is. You reap what you sow. You see what I'm saying? Results are the results. So if you're doing something a certain type of way, and this is the results that it's yielding, when are you gonna bow your ear to wisdom and say, okay, you know what, I may need to change because I keep getting the same damn result. Ain't nothing changing. This is what this is the fruit that's still that keeps coming. It's like a farmer planting a fruit or planting anything and expecting some fruit to come, but for some reason, every time he plants something, this fruit doesn't come. The tree dies or the tree grows up and nothing comes from it.
And he keeps putting the seed in the same place.
Every year. He keeps doing the same thing, the same amount of water, the same amount of sunlight. Ain't nothing changing. Wouldn't you think, oh man, yeah, I need to change this, I need to change that, I need to do some type of experiment to see what's going to yield, what's actually going to bring forth fruit, what's not? Wouldn't that be the smart thing to do? But see, the cold thing is we don't do that. So our house gets overthrown because we ain't diligently looking at the things that's lacking, the things that's working, the things that ain't working. So it becomes overthrown. But the cold part is this. I love the scripture that we started this class with, man. It says, though the Lord give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, your teacher shall not be removed anymore. That means that you always had somebody to tell you that, hey, your house is about to be overthrown. You always had somebody you always had classes, counsels. Somebody, me and him could be talking, and you just overhear something that we're saying, and you're like, damn. They don't even realize it, but that was exactly what I needed to hear. You could be walking, and somebody has something on the shirt, and you read the shirt, and you're like, damn, is the Most High speaking to me or something? You know what I'm saying? Something could happen, and it'd be the Most High just trying to show you. But what happens? We too blind. We got eyes, but we can't see nothing. We got ears, but we can't hear nothing. So what happens? Your house becomes overthrown because your diligency is now gone.
Or you don't equate it to anything necessary. Mm-hmm. Meaning, going back to the last scripture, you don't think that is wisdom. We take things with like a grain of salt, and we're so quick to just throw things over our shoulder like, that's not nothing. They ain't talking about nothing.
Yeah.
You know, it's our perspective on things. But see, a person that knows wisdom, a person that can recognize wisdom is going to understand when to listen. They're going to know when to listen and what to see. And they're going to continue to do what? Be able to sniff out, oh, damn, that makes sense. Yep. Oh yeah. Man, I gotta take that and put that towards me and apply that in my life. But if you don't understand what wisdom even looks like, well, and ask yourself, why don't you understand what wisdom looks like? Well, most of the time, the people that don't is because they subject themselves to something that's not wise. It's not wise to do anyway. So they're too busy subjecting themselves to the other side. It's as simple as that. You're going to subject to something. You're going to submit to something. The ones that can't recognize what wisdom even sounds like is because why? Their head is too clouded with things that aren't wise. Think about it. Why don't you tell a cat that stop listening to the rap and listen to the audio Bible? In his mind, he's like, that ain't wise. The rap sounds more wise to me. Listen to the audio Bible. Stop watching Maury. Watching TV, right? Study. Well, that's not wise. The other thing is more wise because it appeals more to my senses.
Yeah.
So that goes into another level, whole other talk. Where we at? I don't want to go too far from time.
I have a precept to go with Ecclesiasticus 27:3.
What's the precept?
Proverbs 24:3.
Read.
Proverbs chapter 24, verse 3. Through wisdom is in house and building.
What?
The wisdom is in house building.
But if you can't recognize wisdom, or if you reject it, then what are you really doing? How much really are you building? You're lifting bricks, right? Yeah. You carrying the bricks from off the truck to the yard. You're like, oh, look, we about to build. But then think about it. Wisdom says, well, you stack the bricks a certain way and you put mortar in between. But if I don't know that wisdom says that, I'm going to just get some dry bricks and stack a brick on top of a brick flush. And what's going to happen? The big bad wolf is going to come and blow my house down. Right? So is it about stacking bricks? Because what is building? Well, really, you're building for what? Longevity. You're building for security. You're building for stability. Not just to stack bricks, for somebody to be able to come and just, boop. See, there's a way to, that's why it says the wise, you go to Corinthians, he said that he's a wise master builder. Because anybody can stack bricks and carry rocks and say, oh, look, I'm about to go build me, what, a heap? What you gonna build, a heap? Or you trying to build an actual structure that people can dwell in? It says through wisdom the house is building. But if I'm rejecting and submitting myself to foolishness, then what? What am I really building? And that's what we got to ask ourselves, each individual. If I subject myself to the rap music, to TV, if I'm more in tune with those things than the word and the wisdom of the Most High, then really what's being built in me? But then now you can see why you still think on a certain level. Now you can see why you still act a certain way. Now you can see why your faith is sketchy. Oh, he's sketchy. She's sketchy. Right? Because why? It's what you're subjecting yourself to be built in you. Y'all see that? Y'all with me? Am I going too far? This way? That way? Too deep in the ground? Too high in the sky? Okay. Go ahead. Read.
God, let's go to oh no. Finish up that Proverbs 24:3.
Finish her scripture.
Yeah.
Oh, is that it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's it.
And by understanding, it is established.
God, read from the top.
Through wisdom is in house building, and by understanding, it is established.
And I love that word, understanding, because when you understand something, then you know what the hell you're doing.
Go ahead.
A lot of the times, we don't know what the hell we're doing.
Yep.
You know it's possible to follow wisdom and not understand the wisdom that you're following? But see, when you actually understand, then it's going to flourish. So, very good scripture. Through wisdom, a house is builded, and by understanding, it's established, right? Because you could just build your house based off of what the scripture says. But when you really understand the scriptures, your house will then flourish. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, good scripture. Let's go to, got 20 minutes left. Let's go to Genesis real quick. Go to Genesis 18:19. Real quick.
Genesis chapter 18, verse 19.
Go ahead.
For I know him, that he will command his children and his household after him.
That he'll do what?
Command his children and his household after him.
And that's what we're trying to do. You see what I'm saying? But not just our houses. We try to do it in the truth too, where we commanding not just our households, but brothers and sisters, their households, trying to help them through with their life. You see what I'm saying? I'm gonna show y'all something. The majority of the people on the earth today all came from Abraham. I forgot the percentage, but there's a large percentage of people that's on the earth that came from Abraham. It's more than half of the earth that came from Abraham's loins, if y'all didn't know. Y'all see what I'm saying? The Elamites, the Israelites, the Edomites, the Ishmaelites, the Arabians, right? Even the Moabites and the Ammonites, they didn't come from Abraham's loins, but they still came from Lot, who was right there with Abraham. Abraham's nephew. So a large percentage of the earth came from this man, or had some form of influence from him. So with that being said, why do you think they're still alive? It's because of that little bit of influence that Abraham gave them. It's because of that little bit of teachings that they're still following from generation to generation that Abraham gave them. You see what I'm saying? That's why they're surviving. Because the Most High's commandments, his wisdom, is life. When you do the opposite, it leads to death. So a lot of these nations they all died out because they weren't following the Most High. But when you look at Abraham, he commanded his children to do and to follow. So yeah, they don't follow all the way, but they follow to a certain extent. And because they follow to a certain extent, that's why a lot of them is still living today. Y'all see what I'm saying? But guess what? That's what we're trying to do even right now. Not just with our households, but with brothers and sisters' households, is to teach them to be like Abraham, to go back to following the Most High, His words, His commandments, His wisdom, so that they can prolong their lives, but not just live like how they're living, but live better. Y'all see what I'm saying? Remember, Abraham had the law, but he ain't had it written down like how we have it written down. It was naturally in the man. Y'all see what I'm saying? So that's what we're trying to get back to. You think Abraham didn't hold himself diligently in the fear of the Most High? He did. That's why his house ain't overthrown. That's why a lot of the people that came from him is not overthrown. So he commanded his children, go ahead.
And his household after him.
Go ahead.
And they shall keep the way of the Lord.
Go ahead.
To do justice and judgment.
To do what?
Justice and judgment.
Go ahead.
That the Most High may bring upon Abraham that which he has spoken of him.
You see that? And that's what we're trying to do, man. Go to 2 Maccabees 7 and 27. 2 Maccabees 7 and 27. But guess what? So Abraham taught his household, right?
Okay.
You got to bow your ear to be able to be taught. You got to give yourself to be able to be taught. 2 Maccabees 7 and 27.
2 Maccabees chapter 7 verse 27.
And I like this scripture because if you're the one doing the teaching, then you have to prepare your mind for this aspect right here too. Go ahead.
But she bound herself toward him, laughing the cruel tyrant to scorn.
Go ahead.
Spake in her country language on this matter. O my son, have pity upon me that bare thee 9 months in my womb.
Go ahead.
And gave thee suck 3 years. And nursed thee. And brought thee up unto this age. And endured the troubles of education.
That last part is so cold. Because isn't it a troubling thing to teach a child? To teach children?
It's one of my favorites. That's
like, bruh, I'm kind of doing it now, like, with my two. Like, damn, you forgot your ABCs already? Damn, you already forgot this? Like, if you're not consistent, right? So, guess what? It's the same thing with us, man. Like, it takes a consistent thing to teach the next person. But then that next person, at the same time, it's like a hand-in-hand thing. Like, you're trying to teach this person, and you're enduring the troubles of education. You're trying to nourish them up. You're trying to get them from milk, to pass on from milk, to solid foods, to, some fruits and vegetables, and then to just straight up solid food, to them being able to feed themselves. You see what I'm saying? You try to train them up to where they don't gotta follow the lines to make the alphabets anymore. They could just look at it and do it. They could spell their name. You gotta go through the troubles of education, or you try to teach somebody and they're not even listening to you. You see what I'm saying? They're not even following you. That's what happens when you're trying to teach children, right? But guess what? It's the same concept of today. You got to put up with that being a teacher, but then the person that's being taught, they got to humble themselves and listen so that they can be shown, so that they can be taught. And you know what happens when everything is working together and that person is able to be taught? Then it goes back to that 1 Timothy's. Where it says, 1 Timothy 6:1, where it says let as many servants as are under the yoke count their own masters worthy of all honor. It's not just because they're speaking it, but now they're following, and now they're doing what was taught, what you showed them. Now they're living it. You see what I'm saying? So, let's go to, my bad. Let's go to, skipping through all these. Damn it, I had this in here twice. It's lucky I had that in here twice. Go to 1 Peter's now 3 and 7. 1 Peter's 3 and 7. No, Proverbs 31 and 27.
Proverbs chapter 31, verse 27.
1 second before you do read it. Proverbs 31. Nah, drop that. Go to 1 Peter 3 and 7.
1 Peter chapter 3, verse 7.
Uh-huh.
Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge.
According to what?
To knowledge.
So that means that husbands is going to have to teach their wives. Go ahead.
Giving honor unto the wife,
Uh-huh.
as unto the weaker vessel.
So you know when it says giving honor unto the wife, as unto the weaker vessel, and it says you got to dwell with them according to knowledge. You know what that's talking about? That's talking about you're going to have some respect and understanding, knowing that what? She is a weaker vessel. So just like the wife is going to have a little bit of honor unto the children, knowing that they're the weaker vessel, knowing that what? You know what? They may not get it right off the bat. They're children. They don't have the same understanding that you have. So you're going to have what? Patience, kindness. You're going to have to grab their hand and show them. It's the same way as husbands that we're going to have to bear. We're going to have to bear. You're going to have to bear your wife just being a weaker vessel and not having the wisdom that the Most High gave you. You see that? So read on.
And as being heirs together of the grace of life,
Go ahead.
that your prayers be not hindered.
That your what?
Prayers be not hindered.
You see that? Because that's how your house gets blessed. That's how your prayers get answered. When the husband and the wife is moving accordingly, moving right in the eyes of the Father, then he'll bless. But why is the house not blessed? Because they won't be moving in the same mind. Read verse 8.
Finally, be ye all of one mind,
Go ahead.
having compassion one of another.
Go ahead.
Love as brethren.
You see that? So having compassion one of another, thinking about the other person before you move. Considering the other person before they move, before you make a move. Go ahead.
Be pitiful. Be courteous. Not rendering evil for evil.
Not what?
Rendering evil for evil.
So y'all, I hope y'all are seeing this and paying attention because it's showing you how to move. When it says husbands dwell with your wives according to knowledge, like it never switched up. Verse 8 is still on that same point on how you're going to dwell with them according to knowledge. It's telling you to have compassion. So you got to be able to recognize when it's time to have compassion. You got to recognize when it's time to have love. You got to recognize when it's time to be pitiful. Be courteous. You got to recognize when you're in a situation where you could do the evil for evil. Read.
Or railing for railing.
Yeah, where you could be rendering evil for evil and rendering railing for railing. That means that you say something negative and I say something negative. You holding this against me and I'm holding this against you. So then you bring this up, so now I'm bringing this up, and then you bringing this up, and now I'm bringing this up, and then that's not dwelling according to knowledge. Read on.
But contrariwise, blessing, knowing that ye are thereunto called.
Go ahead.
That ye shall inherit a blessing.
Read.
For he that will love life and see good days, let him refrain his tongue from evil, and his lips that they speak no guile. Let him eschew evil and do good.
Go to Ecclesiasticus 30 and 3. Ecclesiasticus 30 and 3. A couple more and then we're done.
Look at Ecclesiasticus chapter 30 and verse 3. He that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy.
So Read it from the top.
He that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy.
Go ahead.
And before his friends he shall rejoice of him.
Fine. So this last point, man, is titled "Train Your Replacement." / It's like you never left. So the whole point, like Patazat was saying earlier, it's like Abraham made carbon copies of himself, right? It's like Abraham made carbon copies of himself, right? So it's like we're all little walking Abrahams walking around to a certain extent. But it says, he that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy. You ain't gonna be able to teach your son if your wife ain't taught too. If she ain't in the same mindset of you, then you're not gonna be able to teach your son. Because then you're gonna be teaching him one thing, she gonna be teaching him another thing. You're gonna be teaching her one thing, she gonna be teaching her another thing.
Yeah, why are our enemies happy with our kids the way they are? Because we're not teaching them against the enemies. That's the thing. We're not grieving nobody. As long as we just think about it. As long as we let our kids be rappers, drug dealers, ball players, car salesmen, whatever, right? As long as we let them do the bidding for America, our enemies they won't be grieved, they'll be happy. Because we're just making it easier for them. You know, I was thinking about it the other day, and I'm like, man, it's just funny how we've been so programmed to, and it's getting to the women real bad, and the children, but this programming against just biblical ideas, right? That's the programming against, like, you got these women now, they want to have kids, but they don't want to have no man. They want sperm donors. That's like the new wave. It's that, and the not getting married. It's like just like being like a side chick type wave. It's like the new wave, right? Just pushing that single parent household mentality, that Amber Rose. Yeah. My, people talk about my kids are feminist. I'm raising my child as a feminist. Like, they love that. They love that because it makes their job easy. They don't have to do too much indoctrination now. They don't have to do too much coaching. We're already willing to put our kids in all the different industries. Why? Because of the bag, right? So we're all willing to put our kids in football so they can get brain damage, smashing their heads together. We're all willing to make them boxers so they can beat the hell out of each other. We're all willing to make them, we're willing to put them in these positions that it don't strengthen our people at all. Yeah. You see that? It doesn't fight. Remember, there was a time when we was like, we're going to fight against the machine, right? We're going to fight against the man. Now it's like everything we do is like, oh, it's going to make me closer to the man in a way of keeping us in subjection to him. You see that? You see why our enemies are happy? Because everything we do keeps us in subject to them. But think about it. Let's reverse it. And why is the Most High unhappy with us? Because we're not in subject with him, right? I'm pretty sure that's what you're going to say. Because we're not subjected to the Most High, and in our different roles, we're not subjected to one another the right way. So the Most High is unhappy with us. And the enemy is happy with us because you're doing what he wants you to do without him having to really work to get you to do it. Right. Who's getting beat? But that's why. But then the sad part is you'll have certain, you have the black men, black women out there like, oh, I'm not in slavery, but because they don't see physical chains and a whip. But now that's the greatest trick that the devil ever did, was convince the world he didn't exist. Yeah. So he convinced you that his chains and his whip has disappeared. They just come in the form of something else. That's it. So he makes it easy. Go ahead here, Abadiah.
You can't serve two masters.
And you can't serve two masters. That's the one thing. You definitely ain't gonna be able to serve two masters.
And when we subject ourselves to this world, that's the master that we become a servant to.
Yeah.
Trickles down to our kids, and the kids follow what we're doing, and they achievement to be
Right.
a servant to the master.
Yeah, instead of fighting against the machine, we feed the machine. We fuel the machine. Instead of fighting against, it's like, you see it all the time. Oh, we're going to ban Balenciaga. But then if you ban Balenciaga, you need to ban Gucci. You need to ban Versace. You need to ban Christian Dior. You need to ban all these damn so-called high-profile clothing lines. Because they've all done some blackface or something racist or something overly sexual to children. But, well, you know what? I'm going to ban Balenciaga because I ain't got no Balenciaga and they're off. But Gucci did blackface on one of their campaigns. But damn, I love that Gucci print. I can't give up my Gucci loafers. Hell nah, not the loafers. See, so, but you see how hard they make it? But it's easy, but we make it hard because they make sure that there's something to cater to everyone's taste. So, well, man, you know, I'm boycotting the NBA the way they did Kyrie. But nigga, you watching the NFL every Sunday. It's the same machine. It's the same thing. Well, I'm gonna boycott this car company, but you're gonna feed into that car company. It all goes in the same bag. When it's attached to the machine, that's how they get you. We got to be able to separate wholly from that master, because he got mad different things attached to him, and come to the real master, right? Where you at?
Let's go to Ecclesiasticus 4 verse 16. Ecclesiasticus 4 verse 16, and we can end it right here.
Yep.
Okay, Ecclesiasticus chapter 4 and verse 16.
Uh-huh.
If a man commit himself unto her, he shall inherit her,
Uh-huh.
and his generations shall hold her in possession.
Con. It's like a drop mic.
Read it one more time.
Go ahead.
If a man commit himself unto her,
Mm-hmm.
he shall inherit her,
So if you commit yourself unto wisdom, right, you'll inherit wisdom. Go ahead.
and his generations shall hold her in possession.
And then your generations to come after you, they'll hold on to wisdom too. So wisdom, the correct application of knowledge, the correct way of just doing things, having order, having structure, doing things the right way. If you do it, if you commit yourself onto that, then it'll commit onto you. And then it'll take care of your generations that come after you. Because they should be able to come and talk to you, the generations that come after you. They should always be able to come and talk to you when you give them your experiences and your wisdom. Y'all see what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's 9 o'clock. Hopefully y'all like class, man. Hopefully y'all like the class. Again, our regular channel is down. It's not that it's down, they banned it. Classes I probably went too hard on something that made them ban it. I'm pretty sure it's from 2 classes ago. I'm pretty sure it's the last class he did probably. Somebody was hating. Somebody probably was hating and reported something, I don't know. But, yeah, so, yeah, man, we'd like to thank the water for everybody for joining us. San Antonio's live, so if you'd like to switch over to San Antonio's channel, ISBHBK San Antonio. Again, that's ISBHBK San Antonio. Definitely switch over. Keep it going with them. We'd like to say shalom, the water for joining us. Shalom.
Shalom.